America's Worst Maritime Disasters, The History of the Deadliest Shipwrecks in American History, written by Charles River Editors, narrated by Mary Rossman. Introduction. There have been countless numbers of shipwrecks over the course of history, but few have had as great an impact as the sinking of the SS Central America in a hurricane in September 1857. The California gold rush was in full swing. State-of-the-art steamer ships were used to transport the discovered gold back east, and the Central America was one of them. On its fateful voyage, the ship was carrying nearly 600 passengers and a huge haul of up to 20 tons of gold worth an estimated $2 million at the time. On the way from Cuba to New York City, the Central America was caught in a Stage 2 hurricane that it never had a chance of knowing about ahead of time. With winds over 100 miles per hour, the hurricane ripped its sails, and the ship started taking on water while struggling to keep its boiler going. These conditions all but doomed the ship, and while over 150 passengers were ferried in lifeboats to another ship for rescue, the intensity of the storm kept the other passengers of the Central America away from salvation. When the ship finally sank, 425 passengers went down with it, and only a handful of survivors were picked up in the ensuing days. The loss of life was a big enough calamity, but the Central America had gone down with so much gold that it scared the American public, which was already beginning to deal with a financial downturn that culminated in the Panic of 1857. This was understandable given that the ship was carrying the modern equivalent of hundreds of millions of dollars, and in fact, when 20th century salvage teams located the search and began bringing gold back up to the surface, they found one 80-pound piece that immediately became the most valuable piece of currency in the world. Naturally, lawsuits over the recovered gold sprang up, and the Central America has remained controversial ever since. There is a popular saying that declares timing is everything, and in no other field of study is that truer than in history. For instance, under normal conditions, a ship that sank with more than 2,000 passengers aboard, most of whom died, would be big news. Yet today the sinking of the SS Sultana is often overlooked, if not entirely forgotten. While it might have generated the type of publicity and reaction of the Johnstown flood of 1889 or the Galveston hurricane of 1900 under normal circumstances, the explosion and sinking of the Sultana on April 27, 1865, has become something of a historical footnote. The irony is that the Sultana is a historical footnote because of the Civil War, but it was also intimately tied to the war. Although Robert E. Lee's surrender to Ulysses Grant at Appomattox was not technically the end of the Civil War, it took one of the last remaining...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?